Hey everybody, welcome back to Fallout Season 2. This is going to be episode 8. Today we're doing a kind of unique custom scenario. This one I like to call the Deathclaw's Egg. And it's a bit more of a, I don't want to say a video game style. It's less about the army composition and it's more about trying to accomplish an objective using stealth and guns and trying to screw over the other person. But I'll explain how that works in a minute. The stakes for today, because we are working our way up to the big finale at episode 10, the stakes for today is whoever wins gets to bring a Deathclaw to the final fight. And I'll explain how that works here in a minute, but just to let you know, our old friend Nibbles is back from Season 1. Enjoy. Alright, so here is the setup for the Deathclaw's Egg scenario. We've done is we've taken opposing corners, so that top corner up there, within red distance of each side, has deployed the Brotherhood of Steel, 3 night patrols with laser rifles. In the opposing corner, we have 3 stock raiders with combat rifles, also deployed within red of each side. And their objective, in the middle of this maze of cargo containers and line of sight blocking terrain, is the Deathclaw's Egg, right there. It is being guarded by Nibbles the Murdering Deathclaw from Season 1. Yes, he's back by popular demand. So the objective for each side is to make it in there, steal the egg, and then make it off of any board edge. Now, as you can imagine, our old friend Nibbles is not going to be too excited about someone coming in to steal their egg. So Nibbles is going to have a bit of a different role than his usual AI. So the way it's going to work, Nibbles will always go as the last person in the round. So everyone else will get to go, and then Nibbles is going to act. And Nibbles is going to act on a little homegrown system of aggro. If you played video games before, you might know aggro is the mechanism by which the AI determines who it's going to attack, and basically represents who are they angriest at any given moment. So aggro, for our game here, will be represented by these crit tokens. And a character can hold a maximum of 3 aggro, and they earn them basically by making noise or drawing attention to themselves. So a model that moves more than once in their turn or in their activation gets 1 aggro. A model that shoots a ranged weapon during their activation is 2 aggro. A model which ends its line of sight that ends its activation within line of sight of Nibbles, again, also 2 aggro. And finally, any model that is holding the egg will automatically max out at 3 aggro. And just to throw a wrench into some of that, models may also make a throw action to pick up a rock or something off the ground and throw it. It will scatter as a frag grenade if they miss, but the model who is nearest to the point of impact will automatically gain 1 aggro as Nibbles turns to look at the noise. So on Nibbles' activation at the end of the round, he will attack the person with the highest aggro or move towards the person with the highest aggro if he can't see them. And he will randomize if multiple people have the same highest aggro. Once he's activated, everyone who is out of line of sight will lose all their aggro. People who are still in line of sight just have to deal with it. Apologies if that seems like a lot. It should be pretty intuitive, and we're just going to roll straight into turn 1. All right, so to decide whether the Brotherhood of Steel or the Raiders go first, on the 4 up, we're going to go Raiders. And it will be Raiders turn 1. Raiders are kind of cautious of the giant slobbering Deathclaw, but they're also a little bit reckless, not too terribly much. So Raiders going to move 1, and then tuck up around the corner of this container. That is a second move during her turn, or her activation, so she will gain 1 aggro token. Over on the Brotherhood side, they're going to decide to split their forces, moving across the gap between the containers, tucking around this side. That's 2 movements. He will also gain a token. Now the Raiders are going to attempt a ploy that we like to call the meat shield diversion. So we're going to run Raider up and up to the fence. He's going to yell and wave his wrench around and his combat rifle. The second movement on his turn will give him 1 aggro, and finishing within Nibbles' line of sight will give him 2 more to max out at 3 aggro. So he is most likely going to be the target of a lot of hate and discontent here in a minute. Meanwhile, the Brotherhood of Steel has a bit of cover still from the overlapping containers. So they're going to move up one. And feeling pretty safe because they can hear the raiders making noise. We'll move up a second time. And our final raider, letting the meat shield be a good meat shield, will scurry up to join his friend, getting ready to make a break for the egg. Brotherhood of Steel's side, just to close things out, they're approaching nice and cautious, as Brotherhood tends to do. Come up behind the fence. And it's time for Nibbles to act. On Nibbles' turn, it's pretty obvious who has his attention right now. So Nibbles take first action to move forward. Yellow. And we'll take a green charge around the fence to slam into this poor raider. I say poor raider, he signed up for this. Nibbles will take a green die on that charge, and at the end of turn 1, everyone who is out of line of sight clears off their aggro. They are in the clear as Nibbles is quite content, getting ready to tear this guy's head off. Our event card for turn 2 is going to be Lost Supplies. There appears to be a cache of valuable supplies just under that egg. Of course there is. We also have the flip icon for the card for turn 3, so on turn 3 we will have a dust cloud, no attacks at long range. It's going to be Brotherhood turn 1. The lead Night Patrol will move up to the edge of this container. And we'll take a prepare action for the first raider that pokes around there. That's only one move, so he gains no aggro. Our lead raider will come around the edge, knowing that they've got a very short amount of time before Nibbles makes mincemeat out of their little teammate there. And we'll come around, ducking between these, and almost within reach of the egg, but more importantly, out of sight of Nibbles. They'll take one aggro for moving twice, and as they come around, the prepared action will kick off for the Night Patrol. Laser rifle normally hitting on 5, so hitting on 3s now with a quick action. No, does not kick off. The shot goes wild. He picks up 2 aggro, which is not enough to pull Nibbles' attention away from his current prey, but it is getting him dangerously close. Our next Brotherhood Night Patrol, move once to here, but not wanting to get stuck out in the open. We'll take a second move to duck up against the side of this container. The raider side. Final raider here is going to come taking around the corner. Just to back up his friend, work colleague. See if he can help keep her safe on the way to the egg. Our next contestant is going to swing just right around the edge here. And he will take a shot at the lead raider. Laser rifle long range hitting on 5s. There you go, hit with a bottle cap. The bottle puts 1 point through her armor. She will test 2 energy armor against the remaining damage. She does not block it, takes 2. It's worth noting, because this is kind of a goofier improvised scenario, we've tried to evenly match the teams. It's both 3 members, 4 health each, and each have 2 armor against the other's weapons. Now importantly, shooting the rifle gave him 2 aggro, and he's finishing up within line of sight of Nibbles, which gives him 2 more, maxing out at 3. Finally, our other little buddy is going to try to be a good raider and draw the Deathclaw behind a cargo container. He's going to declare a move. We'll see if he survives to make it. Nibbles is hitting on 3s with a green die for the charge and a black die for being ridiculously strong. And a hard miss. So our little buddy gets to make his move. Ducking around the side. No, he's still mad at you. You keep those. And then he will try to make another move. At least up to here. Try to keep the attention off of his teammates. So now at the end of turn 2, Nibbles has some decisions to make. We've got a tasty raider who is screaming and flailing in front of him, 3 aggro. We also have a Brotherhood Knight who's gotten a little cocky over there, shooting off his laser rifle. also 3 aggro. So, gonna roll our proprietary War Budgies D6. On a 4 up, then aggro will switch to the Brotherhood of Steel. Oh, there it is. Why is that hilarious? Because it's going to bring Nibbles right back into the center of everything. Now Nibbles' target is out of charge range, but the Deathclaw thunders and crashes right into the middle of our standoff. At the end of Nibbles' action, everyone who is out of line of sight gets to lose all their aggro. That's pretty much just the guy around this corner is out of sight. And the raider over here soiling himself behind the Garo container is actually free for now. As a reminder, this turn there will be no attacks at long range. First contestant will be probably the most intelligent raider. He will take a yellow move to get out of line of sight of the Deathclaw. And we'll take a second yellow move to hook around the side. It's going to get him a second aggro because he still has the previous one from last turn. But he's still less than the current target of the Deathclaw, so he's probably okay. Our somewhat ambitious gunner there on the back for Brotherhood team is going to dial in a shot on this raider before she can slip away. Hitting on 5s. 6, 5. 5's good. 2 energy damage against 2 energy armor. No, both goes through. And raider slumps to the ground. I'm sure Nibbles will appreciate the after battle snack. It does bring him up to 3 aggro, so he will take his other action to duck around behind this container. It might not save him, but if Nibbles doesn't go for him, then it should clear his aggro next turn. Our other little raider buddy, however, realizes that there's 2 targets on the other side of the field who both have an equal chance of getting Nibbles' attention. So he's simply going to, stealthily as a raider can, creep around this and hold there, which, finishing in line of sight, will give him 2 aggro, but will keep him safe for the moment since they are at 3. His other action will be to prepare, and that will finish him up. Meanwhile, the safest and stealthiest of the Brotherhood realizes he's got the pain train coming his way. We'll duck around the back here. There's 1 movement. And sensing an opportunity, he will pick up a rock off the ground and try to throw it at this raider's position. For thrown weapons, a Night Patrol hits on a 5. He's throwing through the fence, so we'll give him a 3 to hit. 8, so misses by 5 and will scatter. Find the Holy Relic of Scattering. He's going to scatter towards Nibbles. That's a good plan. But it's going to scatter yellow, and he will still be the closest target. So he will be awarded the grand prize of a 3rd aggro. His reaction to that, since his cover is blown, will be to shoot his combat rifle at the guy who just threw a rock at him. Normally hitting on 4s, also shooting through the fence, hitting on 2s. And it's a miss. Our final Brotherhood, since he is maxed out on aggro anyways, is going to unload his laser rifle at Nibbles. Good luck with that. Hitting on 5s with a laser rifle. Good hit, bonus damage. 3 damage against 3+1 armor. And Nibbles takes 1. Second shot on 5s. That's a miss. We now come around to Nibbles' turn. Nibbles is getting really kind of aggravated at everyone closing in on his egg. And he's got 3 potential targets. He's got Raider down here where the rock was thrown. He's got the Valiant one who was shooting at him, and the Smart one who's hiding behind a box. So it's going to be on a D3. We'll do 1, 2 is Raider, 3, 4 is Gunner, 5, 6 is Hider. Oh, you just cannot catch a break there, buddy. Nibbles makes an easy green charge through the fence into contact with the Raider. And his Deathclaw Crush has been primed for a while now, so he'll kick that off. For those that haven't seen it, the Deathclaw Crush is a primed weapon which gets 1 token every time he ends an action with a non-friendly line of sight, which has been every action so far. And he can make an opposed skill roll, strength versus agility, to do some serious damage and throw the fool. So it's going to be an opposed skill test. Nibbles has strength 11, and he gets a 4. Raider has agility 5, and fails. So that opposed skill test is functionally the attack roll. So we now have 3 yellow dice plus black die for the charge, black die for being stupid strong. We'll slam into him 3 base damage plus 3, 4, 5 base damage, no armor. There is nothing left of this dude but red paste on the side of this container. At the start of this turn, we have Unbearable Heat. So each player will pick 1 model simultaneously, and that model will get only 1 action. Sort of a crappy luck of the draw for the Raider player because there's only 1 Raider. However, the Brotherhood will choose the guy hiding behind the blue container as the one to get only 1 action. Our poor Raider's just gonna have to hope for the best because he's the last hope for his team and he can't really go back to the red hand. Empty-handed. Haha. Whatever. Alright, he finishes out there. He's still carrying 2 aggro because he was still in line of sight at the end of the last round. He'll pick up a 3rd for ending in line of sight. He doesn't really care. He's going after this egg. He'll cycle through the Brotherhood turn. He'll react to the appearance of the Raider to move orange. But otherwise, much like the Raider, he's feeling the heat and can only take 1 action. So he'll drop a yellow, moving out to the center. Does that expose him? Yes, but it only gives him 2 aggro as opposed to the 3 that this poor fool is carrying around. Likewise, our Brotherhood behind the red container. Step out. And move forward. In classic Brotherhood style, taking calm, disciplined steps, and just being less of a target than that guy. Similar maneuver from the final Brotherhood. He's going to come out, hold his fire, and close in on the egg. This is where trigger discipline becomes really, really handy, as they're all going to calmly hold their breath and not make a sound as this T-Rex of a lizard turns and charges into the only player left with 3 aggro. Deathclaw swipe, green die for the charge, black die for being stupid strong, hitting on 5s. This is gonna smart. Smart, I mean 4 damage, 2 armor break, and the Raider goes down. Worth noting though, that this does not end the scenario, as the 3 Brotherhood are now staring down Nibbles over his own egg. Looks like that scene from Jurassic Park, but reversed. Now it's the Velociraptor and 3 humans. Turn 5 is vertibirds overhead, as large aircraft pass overhead and are really glad that they're not those poor guys on the ground. Now here we have a potentially very unwise scenario that we like to call the bum rush. They managed to clear out the Raiders, or Nibbles has managed to clean out the Raiders for the most part. So the idea here is that poor fool number 1 moves into contact with the egg and has the second action, will pick it up while holding eye contact with the Titanic lizard. And if you're wondering, yes, that gives him maximum aggro. So the philosophy then is that they want to play the odds and try to split his attention. So one knight will go this way and will shoot his laser rifle into Nibbles. Hitting on 5s. Good hit, armor break, burns through. Our other valiant and very disciplined Brotherhood move to the side. And will likewise take shots into Nibbles. Hitting on 5s. Nerves couldn't take it. This means everybody on the field has maximum aggro, so there's only really a 1 in 3 chance that Nibbles will try to tear the guy with the egg in half. So we're just gonna go around D3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the winner is the guy with the egg. Nibbles is having none of your shell game nonsense and charges right in. I don't know if you guys remember that Deathclaw crush ability, but Pepperidge Farm remembers, and so does Nibbles. Do opposed skill test. Nibbles coming in with strength 11. Only a 2. Okay, this is beatable. The Night Patrol has an agility of 5, so he needs more than a 2, but less than 5. Or less than 6. Hey, he actually beats him. This slippery fool manages to dodge the huge hug of death, and he is still on his feet carrying the egg. And it's now that the bum rush maneuver might actually start to take off, as this first knight is going to charge into Nibbles. Again, very disciplined individuals, valiant. He'll just make a simple improvised attack with a black die for the charge. On 4s, he does hit. But Nibbles has strong armor and doesn't give a crap about your stinging mosquito nonsense. But now that there's a friend in close combat, that means that this Brotherhood with the egg can freely move out without any attacks. We'll duck around the back of this container, out of line of sight. So if he gets lucky, we'll see how that worked out for him last turn. If Nibbles picks someone else for the target, then he can make it away scot-free, as he'll be out of line of sight. The other member of the team will move into contact with the goodies and just hope that there's something really valuable in there, like Deathclaw Deterrent. So that guy got an item draw, and it came up with, because I poorly shuffled and didn't organize myself beforehand, a Protector on Hand Laser, which, screw it, I'm going to keep it. He finds a severed arm in this box that's still sparking, and if he puts the contacts together, he gets a little zap. So Nibbles now has 3 individuals who are all at max aggro. We'll do a dice roll to see who he gets. If it's one of these 2, then the other guy is going to get away scot-free because his aggro will clear and he can make it off the next turn. So here's the big question. Same D3, 1, 2, 3, 4. On a 5 or 6, the game continues. All right, so on a 5 or 6, the game continues. On a 1 to 4, it ends. There it is. So Nibbles is going after this guy, and his friends can probably make it away into safety. So what this means is, in the finale, the egg will mysteriously find its way into the Raider camp ahead of time, and the Brotherhood will be allowed to add Nibbles to their roster.